There it is, recording. Perfect. Okie dokie. So I want to welcome everybody to another wonderful networking and educational seminar for our YouTube channel. So first of all, I'd like to thank everybody who's joining us in person, as well as those viewers of us who are following us from home, and as well as those who will see it once we transform it into a podcast, and then will be available for people to see at any time once it's uploaded into our YouTube channel. So welcome, everyone. As you know, this is something we do on a monthly basis to give our members and the public at large the possibility to hear some helpful hints and tactics and tools to increase one's business. This is obviously something we can all use, myself included. I'm always interested, and I take copious notes. So welcome. And of course, we're very pleased today, as part of our monthly meeting, to have as our speaker Nita Wenrick. And as I mentioned earlier, the title of her presentation is called "So You Think You Know How to Network." And so what I like to do before we let our speaker of the month give her presentation, I would just like to really quickly thank our sponsors who make all these events possible, and in no order of importance, because they're all wonderful, but I wanted to mention specifically our two newest sponsors, UCI Health and Saddleback Memorial. So very excited to have these two real staples of our community, and one that has been around with us for a long time, another one who's just joining us, so welcome. Also, of course, Cox Communications, Molten Niguel Water, the toll roads, Merlin Geyer, and who could forget, of course, who really makes it possible for us to happen. That is SDG, because without the power, this would all go blank. So they are truly indispensable. So thank you for them. Thank you for their long-time support. We really appreciate it. And then, of course, I would be amiss if I would not introduce the other two people who make it absolutely possible to have these great events every single month, and that is the founder both of this educational series and the founder of our chamber. Imagine that. And that is Clement Pepe, immediate past chairman. Clement, congratulations for another great event. And, of course, our amazing executive director, Jennifer Pointer, who always makes sure that these things go like a well-oiled machine. So thank you, Jennifer. And so at this point, without further ado, I would like to introduce Nita, who is also being a faithful member of our chamber. So I'd like to introduce to both those here and to our viewers at home, Nita Wenrick, the Medicare diva, to tell us how to network. Take it away.
Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to share my screen here. There we go. Okay. All right, you all can see that? Yes, okay. So give me like a time when I'm getting close to my time, because otherwise I'll talk forever. So, what we're doing here, what we do on Tuesday mornings, and pretty much whenever we're meeting, either there's a chamber or with a different group, is networking. And we know that networking and word of mouth is really a great way to get our business out there. When someone refers you that knows about your business, that's spent time with you and has gotten to know your business, that is a lot more powerful than just saying, oh yeah, here's a business card I picked up at the post office or whatever, try calling this person. So networking is really a very important, especially for small business owners. So we're going to talk about, here we're still in the age of COVID. We're not sure what's going to be happening going forward, but we're still doing a lot of things online. So we're going to talk about both online and then in person. Okay, maybe. There we go. Okay. So networking, I personally have been a member of BNI for about 15 years. So Dr. Ivan Meisner is the founder of BNI, and this is what he said, what really networking is. It's the process of developing and using your contacts to increase your business, enhance your knowledge, and expand your sphere of influence or serve your community. So here at the chamber, it's not just about our business, it's about serving our community. And as you see, this is a relatively new definition that he came up with during COVID, was, about, improving our knowledge and also helping serve our community. Okay. Oh, wow, you look at that. So a lot of people, I don't know how many of you have been to events, but I have, where people just go around and they're just throwing business cards at you, and most of the time those business cards, I kind of look at them and go, yeah, and stick them in a pocket, and that's where it ends. So when you are at any kind of event where there are people, whether it's in person or online, you are networking. That's the purpose. So if you're at a live event, which now we're starting to do more live events here, especially with the chamber, you want to mingle. Don't just stand in a corner. It's not net sitting. It's not net eating, although that's, important too. You need to be out there. You need to be putting yourself out there and meeting people. So you have to work the room. You've got to be out there, meeting people. You want to look for small groups of people, and you want to look for open groups. So an open group, say there's 3 people, and if they're really tightly like in a triangle, that's a closed group, and you're probably not going to have much success with them. If they're has a little bit of space where you could walk up and start talking to them, that's an open group. So look for open groups. My favorite thing to do is to look for somebody that's maybe new or that's standing in a, kind of in the corner by themselves, not really knowing what to do. They have that deer in the headlights look. Years ago, I was at a senior networking event, and there was this young lady there, and she just looked overwhelmed. And so I went up and I started chatting with her, and she and her husband had just opened a new board and care up in Placentia. And so I got to know her, and eventually I went up and visited her board and care. I got other people to know, who she was. I introduced her to other people, and now they have 2 boarding cares, and they're very successful. So not because of me, but just helping her get introduced. So that's kind of what we need to do too. It is a contact sport. You have to work with other people. You've got to, either elbow pump or shake hands, whatever you're doing right now. Make sure, whoops, where'd it go? Make sure you have plenty of business cards with you if we're out and about, right? If you have a digital business card, which our member Linda Blair can help you with, that's part of what her company does. That's awesome too. So you be able to share your digital business card. And something that I really do, I always carry business cards, but I don't just throw them at people. I really want people to ask for my business card, because if people ask for my business card, I know they really want my information. And so that, I usually wait for someone to ask for my business card, and I make sure I ask for theirs as well. In Japanese culture, some of you may know this, Clement, you might know this, that a business card is very important. And you don't just take a business card and shove it in a pocket. You hand it with 2 hands. It's almost a ceremony, and you take it and you treat it with respect. So I think that's what we need to do with our business cards, is treat them with respect. And that will show the person that, yes, you really wanted that business card. Okay. So this is the 24/7/20 rule of networking. Once you make a new contact, you want to, within 24 hours, either email them or call them or send a thank you card. I have a really lovely friend that every time we meet, a couple days later, I get a handwritten thank you card from her. And that means a lot. And there's lots of ways you can do that. But I think sitting down and writing a thank you note, I think that's an important thing. Still, even in this digital age, people like to get mail. So within 7 days, you want to connect with them on social media like Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, Instagram. Check out their website, get to know them a little better, so that you can start to learn about their business as you are maybe preparing for a one-to-one meeting. And then within 30 days after you've met this person, make sure you set a time to meet with them, either virtually or in person. That makes a huge difference. And make sure it's somebody you really want to connect with. So, okay, so face-to-face meeting tips. Make sure you arrive early for your meeting. I have a colleague he was a retired Marine, and he would say, if you are early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, you're fired. So that's always stuck with me. So be early. I try to be at least 15 minutes early for every meeting. Dress appropriately. We've all kind of gotten a little casual, more casual than usual, I think. So just think about dressing appropriately. I'm not a suit and tie kind of person, but there's, dress appropriately. Think of your body language, just we're not, doing this online right now. This is face to face. If it's a breakfast or lunch or dinner meeting, you should finish your meal first. That means you've been listening and letting them talk. And I think that's a great way to gauge how much we are monopolizing the time. And that's a whole different issue as far as, someone that monopolizes a meeting. But you should be the one that finishes first because you're eating and you're listening, maybe asking questions. And you want to ask thoughtful questions, and those are on the next slide. You don't want to try to sell them. I mean, this is a first meeting. This is like trying to, sell a house, after, seeing a picture kind of thing. So you don't want to try to sell them. You're just getting to know them. And then very important, after you want to make sure you set an appointment for a second meeting or a phone call before you leave this meeting. Don't say, oh yeah, we'll get together again. Right then, take out your calendar and set a time to meet with that person again, because then it won't just fall off the board. All right, so these are really great questions to ask when you're meeting with somebody, so you get to know about them and their business. And they're open-ended questions, which of course we want to ask, right? So what do you like best about what you do? What got you started in this profession? Where else do you usually network? For two reasons, that will give you an idea of who they are. And maybe they say, well, I really don't network. Okay, great. Then you've got a chance to invite them to the chamber or to other networking groups that you're part of. So you want to help them with that as well. What are some of your biggest challenges? We've all had a lot of challenges this year with COVID, but there's other challenges too. And then I think this question is so important. How can I help you? Or how can I help you grow your business? That, I think, is the best question you can ask someone, because that's going to get them to thinking, well, this is what I'm looking for. This is how I'm trying to grow. And it will help them learn to ask for what they're looking for. So, but don't ask this unless you mean it and unless you plan to follow it up. So make sure that with all of these, make sure you're sincere. Okay. So virtual meetings, different. We've all done a million virtual meetings this last 18 months. So it's different in a lot of respects. So here are some tips. Again, make sure you're early, even if you're sitting in the waiting room, waiting for the host to let you in. I like to be early. I like to, make sure that I'm going to be there when things start happening. Make sure, again, you dress appropriately, think of body language, make sure all your technical issues are handled. Lighting, microphones, make sure, everything's working, make sure you've renamed yourself in that little box where you can put your name. Make sure you put all your contact information in the chat. Clement has had a great idea where you have it on your desktop and you can just cut and paste it into the chat, makes it a lot easier. And then just like with face-to-face, you want to ask those questions. And how can I help you? How can I help you? What can I do? Especially right now, how can I help you? And again, set a meeting time before you finish your meeting. Couple things, and I think these are common sense, but people forget. Don't do something on a virtual meeting that you wouldn't do in a face-to-face meeting. And and there are people that do this, like with my phone. When I'm in a face-to-face meeting, I turn my phone off and I put it away in my purse so that I don't even see it, because I want to focus on this person. It's the same in one-to-one meetings. We think we're being clever, right? No, you can tell when somebody's not focusing on what you're talking about. So just put your phone away. There's nothing that's going to happen in 45 minutes that's that urgent. You know, you need to focus on this person. And the other thing online is don't be doing other things. Don't be checking your email. Don't be doing anything like that. Really focus on the person. And I know Clement has said that he has a little sign up above his camera that says, you know, look here, so that he really is looking at the camera. So it's like you're really focusing on that person. So those are just little things, but make sure that you are just like you would in person. Make sure you're really giving that person attention, because that's respect. We want to make sure we're respecting people. Okay, so networking online, it's kind of been fun this year because we've actually been able to connect people, right? We've always been able to connect people online. Maybe we can't do an in-person handshake, but we can make that connection. So be sure, I mean, very often I will connect people through emails. So if I say, I have this really great business coach I want you to meet, and I will connect you with an email and I'll introduce you, I'll introduce Clement and say, you know, here's the contact information, happy connecting. And it makes it easy. Then that connection has been established. But there's also some other ways to network online. And I've been working on this a lot more this last year. Every day I spend some time, not a lot of time, maybe half an hour on like Facebook, LinkedIn, Alignable, which is new, which I'm still trying to figure out really what Alignable is all about, but I'm getting the hang of it. And reaching out, looking at some people I might want to connect with that might be good for a good referral partner for my business. So I spent some time connecting, doing some messaging to them about how I can help them with their clients or their patients. And so I've started doing that a little bit every day. I don't spend a lot of time. I don't spend time surfing. I go through and I look at some things even on Facebook, because my clientele are big on Facebook, or on LinkedIn, and like articles that I can share. Like if I have an estate planning attorney, he's got a really great article he's posted, I will share that. So I spend some time reconnecting and helping the people that I already know share their information on these particular platforms. And, you know, one thing on LinkedIn, I get all kinds of people wanting to be connected, people in India and, you know, places where I don't work. And so I don't connect with people like that. I make sure that it's somebody that we have some mutual connection. We work with the same types of clients or in the same type of industry. So don't just friend everybody, because you'll go crazy. But like I said, I make a personal contact with them. I message them, and then very often I will set up a one-to-one with them, because I'm personally licensed in California, Oregon, and Nevada. If they are outside of the area, I can do one-to-one, you know, virtually. But I've done a couple of one-to-ones with people that I've met online through LinkedIn, particularly, that have become good referral partners for me. So spend a little time, don't surf, but spend a little time reaching out on those, you know, platforms. Okay, so this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. I know I've gone pretty quickly, but this is something new that I just came across. And it is when you are networking, when you are talking with people, whether it's like at a chamber event where we're giving our little elevator speech, or whether it's in, you know, one-to-one or virtual, when you are asking for something, be really specific about what you're looking for. And that's what the laser sharp networking is all about. You know, I've learned through BNI, you don't want to say, I'm looking for anybody or everybody. You know, I've heard people in the skincare arena that say, I'm looking for anybody with skin, or chiropractors say, I'm looking for anybody with a spine. Yeah, no, you don't want to do that. You want to say, I'm looking for someone that was in a car accident recently and they didn't think they had any damage, but they're starting to have neck pain. That's really specific. Or if you're looking for a referral to someone from the Irvine company, if you have a specific name of that person, that's really going to be huge. So I jumped the gun a little bit. That's the second thing. But being specific, being really, really specific. Focus on just one aspect of your business at a time. Some of us don't have a lot of different things we do, but just focus on one thing at a time when you're networking. And then again, ask really specifically for something, for who you want to talk to. In that, say you want to talk to the HR manager, like I said, at the Irvine company, and you get that name. You can find that online. That's not hard to do. So you give them that name, and they may not know the HR manager at the Irvine company, but they may know the HR manager at Amazon or another company. It's going to give them ideas, and you could say, well, would that be a good referral for you? Yeah, that'd be a great referral for me. So the more specific you are, the more likely you are to get what you're looking for. And then meet with each person in your networking circle more than one time. So don't just meet once, but have a consistent, meet with them every 3 or 4 months or even sooner, because the more you meet with these people, the more you get to know them and the more they get to know you. And it really makes passing referrals and helping each other grow businesses much easier, and because you know the person, you know their sphere of influence, you know what they do in their spare time. If you're a chiropractor and you meet with someone and you find out that they're part of a bicycling group that bicycles on the weekend, would that be good to know? Yeah, because somebody always gets hurt on the weekend. Now this person's got someone to refer them to. So you think outside the box, think about other areas when you get to know these people that might be helpful for you. Okay, so that's kind of my story. So this is my information. If you have any questions about networking, I've been doing it a long time. I'm not perfect at it, of course. I'm learning a lot all the time, but the main focus, I think, in networking is building relationships. And I know at the chamber, that's a huge part of being part of the chamber, is to build those relationships. And you can't build relationships if you don't spend time with people. So that's my presentation. I'm going to stop sharing. If you have any questions, hi, Dr. Iris. I'm happy to answer them. Or if you have any comments, something maybe you've come across in your networking efforts.
Thank you so much. I mean, Clement was going to say something. Clement is like the king of networking, but being in chambers for so long, that getting back to this face-to-face instead of video screen to video screen. And I'm sorry, I blocked out my thing because you could actually, there was so much going on out here. I didn't want to see if anything would disconnect and all of a sudden I would go away because they're doing yard work outside. Anyway, but having that face-to-face coming back is going to be so important. Getting to know people. There's certain times you want to put those personal attachments on where you can say, well, I've done this, which is similar to what you've done. I'm part, like a road racer, bike racer or whatever. I like to do this. And maybe there's a connection, and those little connections start that seed that grows.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's important to spend time with people. I mean, there are times when I've done a one-to-one with somebody and I come away going, no, I don't want to get to know this person for whatever reason. I mean, there's just, it's just not a good fit. And that happens. And I think we could be selective in that. We don't, like I said, just like online, you don't have to friend everybody that wants to be your friend. We don't have time for that. So, it'll be like, yes, thank you very much for meeting me. And on my calendar, no, don't ever meet with this person again. Or we just don't have anything in common. It's just not going to happen. So that's okay to do too. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
A couple of things. Good job. Good, excellent work. Really big time. I don't know if I've ever heard this before, but I wrote it down. Networking is a contact sport. I mean, that is so spot on. And whether it be Zoom, whether it be in person or whatever, it really is. And so to just leave that person in the space that you found them and not work to get caught up with them somewhere along the line, you aren't networking. So I think
Yeah.
that's just a powerful point. And using that 3 steps that you talked about within 24 hours, I'm a call kind of guy. I'm, you know, again, phone's been around ever since Alexander Graham Bell and I worked out that phone thing together. And but for me, I'm a phone guy. So calling within 24 hours is a very, very powerful thing. And with the chamber, with the other things too, when you call somebody from within 24 hours and you represent either that networking group or that chamber or part of it, and you just talk to them and say, hey, I just wanted to call, see what you thought about the meeting, see what you thought about they feel special. People feel real special like that. And doing that other thing, the social media. I've heard about that social media thing. I'm gonna get into it some day, but no. But yeah, so hooking up with them on social media, I think is a great thing. And then the 30-day, for me, it's a 30-minute get with them after 30 minutes. You said 30 days, but I'm a 30-minute kind of guy. Okay, let's get together. But really good stuff. Thank you so much, Nita.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
my pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah. So, you know, it's what I love to do, being out there. And I really am kind of a shy person. You wouldn't think that, but you know, if kind of left to myself, I kind of hang back at social events. And so having gotten into networking, it's really made me, you know, be more out there and step out and, you know, shake a hand and say, hey, my name's Nita. Who are you? You know, what do you do? You know, and so, and that's like the second question I asked. So what is it that you do? You know, and
those
it's just automatic.
Too, yeah.
Yeah, those, and because they're open-ended questions, you know, and they get people to thinking, well, what is it that I like about my job and how did I get here? You know, so I think it creates just a better relationship. So
yeah, you want to be interesting, be interested. So, you know, one other thing too, is I was mentioning what you just said. If you went into a networking meeting and there were 100 people in that networking meeting, and you asked the question, hey, how many people love doing this networking thing? Walking into a room where you don't know anybody, not many people would raise their hand and say they love it. So it has to be done whether we like it or not, really. So,
yeah. And the other thing too, as far as like introducing people, I mean, when we're face to face, you know, you can introduce people. I mean, I take people, oh, you've got to meet this person, and I take them literally by the hand, if I can do that, and introduce them, right? It's a little harder, but I have done that a couple of times on meetings, going, oh, Karen, you need to know Sylvia. And so I kind of, in the chat, I make sure that they have each other's contact information, and then I will go back and do a reminder email. Hey, you know, I just wanted to remind you guys, here's your information, you know, so you can connect. So you can still do that too. Online, it takes a little longer, but and that's what it's all about. We're all here to help each other, but we can't help each other if we don't know each other, you know. So that's where the network, where it comes in.
Any other questions?
So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And then if you want to chat anymore, we can. To record this, I'm going to edit it down a little bit.
So you can stop it, or I have to stop it?
You have to stop it, because I made you the host because of